In the heart of the galaxy, a massive space station floated like a metal moon. It was called the Circle of Order, and every great alien race had sent their leaders there. The hall was filled with strange shapes, creatures with tentacles, shining, armor, long necks, cold eyes. They were different in body but united in thought. They had all come for one reason: to vote on the future of humanity. The air inside the hall was heavy with silence. A deep voice echoed through the room. It belonged to the speaker of the circle. "This meeting is to decide the fate of the human race," the voice said. "They are dangerous, they are violent, they grow too fast. Today we vote." Each leader stepped forward. The lizard-like Vortak Prime was first. "Humans are clever, too clever. They tricked us in trade, stole secrets. They must be destroyed." Others nodded. The crystal-skinned Zalari Queen added, "They are not like us. They do not follow the old ways. They destroy planets for greed. They will burn the galaxy." One by one, the leaders gave their reasons: jealousy, fear, anger, all hidden behind words like peace and balance. When the last voice spoke, the vote began. Each leader pressed a button. Red meant death. Green meant mercy. One by one, red lights lit up. 13 races, 13 red lights. Not a single one voted to save humanity. The speaker stood again. "The vote is clear. The humans are to be removed from the galaxy. Their world will be destroyed. Their name will be forgotten." A cheer rose from the crowd. It was done. But just then, every screen on the station flickered. The lights dimmed for a second. A strange sound filled the air, like static, like a whisper. Then words appeared on every screen at once. "You have made a mistake." The crowd grew quiet. A few looked at each other, confused. Others laughed nervously. "Just a glitch," someone said. "Hackers, perhaps." But no one knew how it had happened. The station was protected by the best technology in the galaxy. Nothing could get through, except something just had. Later that day, the combined fleet of the galaxy's strongest races was sent to Earth. Massive warships moved like a dark cloud through space. They carried enough firepower to break a planet in half. The fleet reached Earth in 3 days. From orbit, Earth looked calm. Blue oceans, green land, no shields, no defenses. It looked weak. The ships moved into position. A group of soldiers was sent down. They landed in New York expecting resistance. But the city was quiet. Cars sat still. Buildings stood empty. Not a single human was in sight. They searched for hours, from street to street, block to block. Nothing. The city was dead. Then one soldier found something strange. It was written in red paint on a large wall. Simple words. "You wanted us gone. We listened." The message sent chills through the team. They called it in. Across the world, other teams found the same thing. Messages in different cities, different languages, but all with the same meaning. The fleet commanders ordered a deep scan of the planet. The results came back. No human life signs. Not one. The leaders were shocked. Where had the humans gone? One general growled, "They must be hiding underground." Troops were sent into bunkers and tunnels. But they were all empty. A few strange machines were found, black cubes with glowing blue lights. No one could understand them. The scientists on board tried to study the machines. When they touched one, it began to hum. Without warning, one of the warships exploded. A fireball in space. Thousands of lives gone in seconds. The rest of the fleet panicked. Alarms rang out. The machines on the planet started glowing brighter. A voice was heard across all ships. It wasn't on any channel. It didn't come from any source. Yet every soldier, every commander, every leader heard it in their minds. The voice was calm, human. "You voted to destroy us. You thought we were weak. You were wrong." Panic spread. The ships began to retreat, but it was too late. The message ended with 3 words. "Now we watch." Back on the Circle of Order, the leaders gathered again. Their victory, was empty. There was no Earth left to destroy, no humans to conquer. But deep down, they all felt the same thing: fear. Because now, the question wasn't where the humans had gone. The question was, what had they become? The alien fleet hovered in Earth's orbit like a storm cloud waiting to strike. But there was no one left to fight. The planet was empty. Not a single human life had been found. The soldiers who landed in the cities had returned with strange reports. The cities were clean. There were no signs of war, no damage, no struggle. It was as if the entire human race had simply vanished. On board the lead warship, General Tarvek of the Vortak stood in silence. He stared at the planet through the glass of the command room. "This doesn't make sense," he growled. "They were here. Their cities are still warm, but they're gone." One of the ship's scanners beeped. "General," said a crew member, "we've found something, a signal coming from the north. It's repeating." "Show me," Tarvek ordered. The screen lit up. A single repeating transmission, coming from the ruins of a small building in what used to be Canada. The signal was weak but clear. It wasn't a distress call. It wasn't a cry for help. It was just one line of text, repeating every 5 seconds. "We gave you a chance." Tarvek clenched his fists. "Send a team. I want to know what this is." A group of elite soldiers landed near the building. It looked like an old science lab. Inside, they found no bodies, no signs of struggle, just more of the strange machines, black cubes with glowing blue lines. They pulsed like they were alive. One soldier touched one of the cubes. Instantly, the lights in the building turned on. The walls changed color. A hologram appeared in the air above the cube. It showed a human woman in a white coat. She looked calm. Behind her were shelves filled with devices no one recognized. She began to speak. "If you're seeing this, we are already gone. Not dead. Just moved on. You feared us. You hated us. You united against us. So we left. But not without a gift." The soldiers looked at each other, confused. "We call it Project Ghost Skin," the woman said. "It is our evolution. You feared what we might become. You were right to be afraid." The message ended. The cube powered down. Back in orbit, other ships reported the same thing. Every human city had these machines. Some had messages. Others had nothing. But one thing was clear. Humans had left these on purpose. The alien leaders gathered on a private communication channel. Queen Lashera of the Zalari looked pale, her crystal skin dim. "What is Project Ghost Skin?" she asked. No. One had an answer. A scientist from the Jurok Empire suggested that the humans had created new technology to hide themselves from scans. "They could be here," he warned, "watching us right now." That thought sent a chill through the group. Suddenly, alarms rang across every ship. One of the warships began spinning out of control. It crashed into another ship. Both exploded into fire. Panic spread. "Attack!" Someone shouted, but there was no enemy on the radar, no sign of ships, missiles, or weapons. Nothing had been seen, yet 2 massive ships had been destroyed. A strange voice echoed through every ship. It was human again, but this time cold, mechanical. "You were warned." The screens flickered. A new message appeared on all systems, even personal devices. "We are the silence you gave us. Now, we return it." Communications between ships went dark. Even the commanders couldn't reach each other. Every signal was jammed. A sound like soft breathing came through the static. It wasn't real, but everyone heard it. General Tarvek shouted, "Retreat! All ships, pull back from the planet." But it was too late. Another ship vanished. No explosion, no fire. It just disappeared from space. Gone. Soldiers and captains screamed. No one knew how to fight something they couldn't see. Back on the Circle of Order, the leaders watched the disaster unfold. The fleet they had sent was the strongest the galaxy had ever seen, and it was being torn apart by ghosts. The speaker, of the circle looked around the room. His voice trembled. We voted to destroy them, but they were already beyond us. We didn't destroy them. Queen Lashara whispered. We set them free. And far away, on a distant moon, no one had mapped. Before a group of humans watched everything, they sat in silence, faces calm, eyes glowing faint blue. One of them, a man in a black coat, spoke. They made their choice, he said. Another human nodded. Now we show them what we've become. Outside their base, hundreds of black ships rested in perfect rows, silent, ready. Because this was just the beginning. The stars above planet Gorath were peaceful. Its twin suns glowed gently in the sky and its purple oceans shimmered in the light. The people of Gorath were proud. They had been the first to call for humanity's destruction. Their leader, High. Commander Volrek stood on the great tower watching the horizon with a smile. They ran, Volrek said to his advisors. Cowards. No fight. No war. Just vanished. He laughed. The humans were never a threat. Gorath was protected by strong shields, huge armies, and advanced weapons. Thousands of soldiers trained every day. Massive cannons pointed toward the sky. The people felt safe. But safety is an illusion. Late that night, something strange happened. One of the outer defense towers stopped sending signals. A scout team was sent to check it. 10 minutes later, the scout ship vanished. No distress call, no trace. Then, another tower went dark, and another. The sky shields flickered for half a second. Inside the control center, alarms started to beep. Commander Volrek stared at the blinking lights. Is this a system failure? He asked. No, sir, the technician replied, hands shaking. Something is cutting through our systems. How? Volrek growled. Nothing can do that. The technician turned pale. Nothing. We know, but maybe something they made. Before Volrek could speak, the entire power grid shut down for 3 seconds. When it came back, all screens showed the same message. You forgot who we are. Panic swept through the control room. Find the source, someone shouted. Soldiers ran through the halls. The skies above the capital city were still clear, but the people felt something watching them. Moments later, a dark shape appeared in the sky. Just one at first. Silent. Fast. No known engine. It hovered for a second, then vanished again. The city's defense cannons locked on, but too late. The shape appeared again, closer. A single blue flash, and the main command tower exploded into fire and dust. Across the planet, people screamed. Buildings collapsed. Explosions lit up the night. The attack had no pattern, no clear enemy. Ships were torn apart in midair. Troops vanished without a sound. In one city, a child looked up and saw a shadow with glowing eyes walking through the fire. She wasn't afraid, just confused. The shadow looked at her, then disappeared like smoke. By morning, planet Gorath was silent. Half. Its cities were gone. Entire armies had vanished. The few survivors could only whisper one name: humans. The news spread like a virus through the galaxy. Panic hit every empire. The proud Vortak were now quiet. Their best planet had fallen in one night. No one had seen the human ships clearly. No one had captured a single attacker. But the signs were the same in every place. Blue lights, perfect silence, and death that came like a shadow. The leaders of other races gathered in emergency meetings. The Zalari queen shook her head. This is not war, this is punishment. A commander from the Tavari said, we must strike back, find them, crush them. But where? The humans had no homeworld anymore, no base, no signal. They had become ghosts. One race, the small and clever Draliks, tried to find answers. They were not fighters, but thinkers. They searched old Earth files and found a strange document. Project Last Light. It was a human plan created many years ago before the vote to destroy them. The document was full of secrets, hidden colonies, unknown experiments, technologies far beyond what any other race had. One line in the document chilled the Dralic scientists. When the galaxy turns against us, we will not fight it. We will disappear from its eyes and return when it begs for mercy. Suddenly, every power in the galaxy realized the truth. Humanity had planned this. They had expected the vote. They had prepared for exile. They had become something else, something the galaxy could not understand or stop. Back on the ruined surface of Gorath, a single message was left on a building wall. No one saw who wrote it. No one knew when it was written. It simply said, we're peaceful. You chose war. And now, across the stars, the strongest empires in the galaxy felt something they had never known before. Fear. The galaxy was no longer calm. After the fall of planet Gorath, fear spread like a storm. Every empire that had once voted to destroy humanity was now holding emergency meetings. Planets that had mocked humans now locked their doors and turned off their lights. In every corner of the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Ships disappeared without sending any signal. Space stations went dark in seconds. No explosions, no wreckage, just silence. Queen Lashara of the Zalari Empire sat inside her diamond chamber, her crystal skin dim with worry. We thought they were gone, she whispered to her guards. But they never left. They became something else. Her advisors tried to speak, but the fear in their voices made her angrier. How do we fight what we cannot see? She asked. No one answered. Across the galaxy, in a massive metal fortress floating in deep space, the Tavari War Council gathered. They were a warrior race, always ready to fight. But even they were scared. We must find them, General Karn shouted. The humans must have a base, a center. We strike it and this ends. One of his spies stepped forward. We have tried. We've sent 20 scout ships to find their location. And, Karn growled. The spy swallowed. None of them came back. Silence filled the room. Even the toughest generals looked down. In the darkness between stars, something moved. Black ships shaped like knives flew silently. They were faster than light, leaving no trace. They visited planets without landing. They circled space stations. Without firing, they were watching. On planet Zelor, a mining colony stopped sending reports. A rescue team arrived days later. What they found chilled them. The workers were still alive but afraid to speak. When asked what happened, they all said the same thing. They walked through walls. They didn't speak. They looked human, but not. The team left quickly, but as they flew away, one of them saw a message written on the colony wall. We are what you feared we would become. The leaders of the galaxy gathered once again on the Circle of Order. The same place where they had voted to destroy humanity. This time there was no laughter, no pride, only fear. They are playing with us, said one leader. They are warning us, said another. The speaker of the circle stood up. His voice was quiet. We must send a message to the humans. We must ask to speak. The others shouted. We can't. They will kill us. But they all knew it was too late for pride, too late for power. The humans were not fighting a war. They were making a statement. One by one, the races tried to send peaceful messages, signals of peace and surrender. But the messages were blocked. A new sound echoed through the communication lines. A whisper, soft and cold. It was not a voice made by machine. It was inside their minds. You had your chance to speak. You chose silence. Now so do we. In a small moon station on the edge of the Tevari system, a child woke up screaming. Her parents rushed to her room. She pointed to the wall. The man was there, she said. There's no man, her father said. He had a human face, she whispered, shaking. He looked at me in my dream. He said we broke something that cannot be fixed. Across the stars, more reports like this came in. Dreams, visions, whispers. The humans weren't just attacking, they were inside minds, inside systems. They were everywhere. But still, no one had seen a full army. No one had caught a human. The galaxy's most powerful, Scanners couldn't find them. The most advanced ships couldn't track them. It was like chasing ghosts in the dark. On a hidden world covered in shadow, the humans watched. Their eyes glowed with soft blue light. They were no longer like they were before. Their bodies were stronger. Their minds were connected. They didn't use words to speak anymore. They shared thoughts. One of them, a woman who once lived on Earth, looked up at the stars. "They are scared," she said to the others. "Good, but they still don't understand." A man beside her nodded. "We were never their enemy. We just didn't want to be their slaves." The group stood in silence. Behind them, machines hummed. Ships floated, ready to move again. The stars above flickered like nervous eyes, and far away the galaxy waited, not knowing what the humans would do next. They had voted to destroy humanity. Now they were begging for a chance to survive. The galaxy was changing. No one felt safe anymore. Every planet, every moon, every station had one thing in common now: fear. It was not the fear of war or battle. It was the fear of something unknown, something watching. The humans were not attacking planets anymore. They didn't need to. Just the sound of their name made armies step back. Leaders locked themselves in bunkers. Citizens whispered the word human like it was a curse. On the planet Zarthos, people started vanishing. During the night, one by one without a sound. Their homes were untouched, their doors still locked, but they were gone. The only clue was a blue light left behind, glowing in the dark. Governor Hrel of Zarthos called an emergency meeting. "This is madness," he said. "We are losing control. Our people are scared of shadows." One of his advisors replied, "Not shadows, sir, ghosts." The governor slammed his hand on the table. "We need answers. Where are the humans hiding? What do they want?" But no one knew. On the silent moon of Ventra 9, a science station tried something new. They set a trap. They used fake distress signals to lure the humans in. The plan worked, or so they thought. A strange object appeared on their radar, small, fast, and cold like space itself. They locked onto it. They fired everything. When the smoke cleared, the object was still there. Then, one by one, the scientists began to lose control of their machines. Lights flashed. Screens turned black. One final message appeared before the entire station went dark. "You still don't understand. We are already inside." The station vanished 5 minutes later. Nothing left. No wreckage. No signal. Just silence. Across the galaxy, this message was repeated again and again. In the circle of order, the panic had become unbearable. The great hall where the vote to destroy humanity was once held now echoed, with regret. The speaker stood and spoke to the gathered races. "We must admit the truth," he said. "We made a mistake." No one argued. Queen Lashara nodded. "We feared their future, so we tried to end it. Now their future is here, and we cannot stop it." A new voice joined the meeting. It came from every speaker, every device, every communication channel across the circle. At the same time, it was human. "You feared what we would become. You made that fear real. You built the enemy with your own vote." The leaders looked around in horror. "Where is that voice coming from?" shouted a general. But deep down, they already knew. The humans were speaking from inside their systems, inside their walls. "You gave us no choice," the voice continued. "So we gave you what you wanted, a galaxy without humans. But now you live in the galaxy we built in return." Then silence again. In a dark control room on a hidden human world, a young man closed his eyes. He was part of the new generation, born after Earth was abandoned, trained in secret, raised with knowledge and power. He didn't hate the other species, but he remembered. He remembered the vote. "They were afraid of what we might become," he said. "But fear is not a reason to kill." Beside him, a woman touched a glowing map of the galaxy. Dozens of red lights blinked on and off. Enemy bases, fleets, leaders, all being watched. "All systems are under our control," she said. "We can end it now." The man shook his head. Not yet. Why not, she asked. Because they haven't learned anything yet. Elsewhere in a far-off empire, children asked their parents, who were the humans? And the parents, with pale faces, replied, the ones we should not have feared, the ones we should not have betrayed. And above them in the sky a blue light flickered just for a second, long enough to remind everyone. The shadows were still there, and they were watching. The galaxy was quiet, but not peaceful. It was the kind of silence that comes before something terrible. The kind of silence that makes your skin feel cold and your heart beat fast. Everyone knew what was coming. They just didn't know when. The humans were not sending ships anymore. They were not attacking cities. They didn't need to. They had taken control of everything without firing a shot. Communication systems, weapon codes, energy grids, even the thoughts of some leaders were not safe anymore. In the circle of order where the vote to destroy humanity had been made, the leaders sat in silence. No one spoke. No one shouted. They all looked tired, scared, and ashamed. Queen Lashara of the Zalari finally stood up. Her crystal face had cracks in it, marks of stress. We must beg for peace, she said. We must tell them we were wrong. The speaker of the circle nodded slowly. But will they listen? Another leader, General Karn of the Tavari, slammed his fist on the table. They have to. We are the rulers of this galaxy. The others looked at him with cold eyes. Those days were over. The speaker sent a message. It was short, honest, a simple request. To the humans. We were wrong. Please, let us speak. We beg for mercy. The message was sent across every system. No reply came. For one full day, the galaxy held its breath. Then on the second day, the sky changed. Above every capital city, a dark shape appeared. Not ships, just shadows in the sky. Huge, still, silent. No sound, no signal. Just watching. People screamed. Armies aimed their weapons, but nothing moved. Nothing attacked. In the circle of order, the lights shut off. The air turned cold. A single blue flame appeared in the center of the room. It formed into a human shape, tall, glowing, with no eyes. Just a soft voice. Why should we show you mercy? It asked. The leaders didn't answer right away. They were afraid to speak. Then Queen Lashara stepped forward. Her voice shook. Because we see now. We were wrong to fear you. Wrong to unite against you. Fear is not a reason to destroy, the human figure replied. But you did more than destroy. You made a choice to erase us. Another leader from the Jurok Empire said, we thought we were saving the galaxy. We didn't understand what you were becoming. We offered peace, the human said. You voted for silence, so we gave it back to you. The figure paused, then added, but this is not revenge, this is the mirror you built for yourselves. The leaders fell to their knees, not out of honor, but fear. Pride was gone, power was useless, they had finally understood. Please, the speaker whispered, give us a chance to fix this, to make it right. The human shape did not move. You cannot undo the past, it said, but we will listen. The flame vanished. Across the stars, the shadows in the sky faded. The systems returned to normal. The fear did not end, but it changed. Now the galaxy was no longer afraid of attack. They were afraid of the chance they might lose forever, the chance to speak. On a quiet human base, hidden in a system no one could find, the leaders of the new humanity watched. They are asking for peace, one said. Another replied, now that they have nothing else. A young human, born after the fall, stepped forward. His eyes were calm. We give them a choice, he said. Like they gave us. The others agreed. Across the galaxy, a final message was sent from the humans. It appeared on every device, every wall screen, every station. We will speak. One time. Come unarmed, come honest. Or do not come at all. A location was given. A quiet place between stars. A place where no empire ruled. It would be the last meeting A meeting that would decide everything, peace or extinction. In the cold space between stars where no planet shines and no empire watches, a single station floated. It was not human, it was not alien. It was neutral, an ancient listening post forgotten by time. Now, it was the most important place in the galaxy. This was where the humans had asked the leaders to come. No weapons, no guards, no lies. One by one, the ships arrived. The Zalari Queen stepped down first, dressed in soft crystal armor. Then came General Karn of the Tavari, without his usual war medals. The Speaker of the Circle followed, looking older than before. Each leader arrived quietly, heads low, eyes uncertain. They had ruled the stars once. Now, they were only guests. Inside the station, they found a single room. Round, empty. A long table stood in the center with seats for each race, and one for humanity. They sat in silence. The human chair was still empty. Minutes passed. Then the lights dimmed. A door opened and a single human entered. He was not wearing armor. He carried no weapon. He looked normal, just a man. But there was something in his eyes, something ancient, something powerful. He sat down slowly. No one spoke. Finally, the human looked around the table and said, "You called us animals, monsters, threats, but the truth is you were afraid we might grow stronger than you." Queen Lashara lowered her head. "We were wrong." "Yes," the human said, "but not just because you feared us. You united the entire galaxy not for peace, but to destroy a future you didn't understand." General Karn stood. "We believed you were dangerous." The human nodded. "You were right." The leaders gasped. "But not in the way you thought," he added. "We are dangerous. To those who try to control, to those who fear change, to those who choose hate before hope." The room went quiet again. The speaker finally asked, "Why didn't you destroy us when you had the chance?" The human's voice softened. "Because then we would be like you." A pause. "Instead," he continued, "we chose to become something greater. To evolve, to wait. And now the galaxy listens when we speak." The Zalari Queen looked up. "What do you want?" The human looked around the table. "We don't want revenge," he said. "We want something you never gave us. A place to exist." He placed a small crystal on the table. It glowed softly, showing a map of hundreds of systems, each marked with a blue light. "These are the systems we've rebuilt. Worlds we made safe. Places where life, not war, grows." The leaders stared. Some of those systems had been dark zones too dangerous to enter. Now they were thriving. "You thought you were destroying us," the human said, "but you gave us something else, freedom." Queen Lashara wiped a tear from her face. "Can we be part of that future?" The human looked at her. "That depends on what you choose now." The leaders sat quietly, realizing that this was their final moment to speak with honor, or lose everything. The speaker stood. "Then hear our promise. From this day forward, no race will rule the others. No race will vote to destroy another. We will build a new order, one where humanity has its place, equal, respected, and free." The human waited, watched their eyes, listened to their hearts. Then he nodded. "Then we accept." A soft light filled the room. The crystal on the table grew brighter, not just blue, but all colors, a sign of unity. The human stood to leave. At the door, he turned back. "This is not the end," he said. "This is the beginning of a galaxy that remembers. A galaxy that chooses peace, not fear." He walked away. The leaders remained in the room, quiet, thinking of what had been lost and what had just been saved. Outside the station, the stars seemed brighter. In the years that followed, history would remember this day as the last meeting, the day when the galaxy did not beg for mercy, but chose to grow, and the humans, once hunted, once feared, became not the destroyers of worlds, but their guardians.